I'm Erin Ray, and um, we are sister-in-laws. So our husbands are brothers, and they're kind of like Irish twins, like the 13 months apart. They've always been really close. I come from a healthcare background as a nurse and nurse practitioner, and was exposed to Salesforce as an end user as a nurse practitioner, and found Salesforce for Everyone through Choose Five, and that kind of lit the fire under me, with my experience using it, that I really love the platform. And that's how I got exposed and then started my journey with the whole program, Talent Stacker program.
So I'm Alicia Ray. I was introduced to Salesforce by Erin. Most of my background is in financial services, but the last 4 years I was in education. And I came to a point in my career where I felt like I wasn't going to grow anymore. And so I decided that I was going to pursue Salesforce in tandem with finishing my degree. And so I kind of focused on that full time and did both of those things at the same time. So learning Salesforce, making that transition, and also finishing out my degree.
I signed up, I think it was October 2021, the Talent Stackers, again, like right after I started the 5-day challenge. I hit it really heavy in October, but we were getting into a busier time at work. I was still working full time, remote, but as a nurse. And I decided in December that I really needed, because we've got little kids, busy schedules. I personally just really needed to dedicate to my time to it full time. So I started focusing a lot more in December, and then I left my position in December to just continue to study full time. I remember getting kind of my first, I didn't even realize it was an interview. I thought it was like a mentor chat, and then it was an interview. And they sounded really interested. They ghosted me, but it gave me a lot of motivation because they were really positive. They gave me a lot of advice on how to focus on the core cloud, but if I want to get into health cloud, and how important the soft skills were. He mentioned, I'll take somebody that has 7 certs, but they can't talk to their clients. I'll take somebody who is starting their journey, but has great, interpersonal skills over the other person. So that was a big push to me. That was, I think, in January, early January. Then a couple weeks later, Shaylin on LinkedIn, Bradley actually posted in the Facebook group, hey, go interact on this post on LinkedIn. So I did, gave a little bit of my background. I know some people were kind of copy and pasting, but I really tried to be, just be more unique and tell my story. And a consulting company had found me on there. Hold on just a second, talking about kids. So a consulting company had commented on that, and then I interviewed with them. I wasn't even certified yet. I started working for them mid-February and didn't get certified till the end of February. And that was kind of, to me, another launching point to continue like the motivation and seeing, again, this is real. I didn't even apply for the position. They found me on LinkedIn just based off my interactions. And so I've continued the journey. I focused on health cloud just because of my background, and have kind of tried to continue across that HLS vertical.
My journey wasn't quite like Erin's, which kind of I was fingers crossed it would be, but I think that kind of like was the stars aligned for her.
Yeah.
But for sure, like I left my job on Friday, towards the end of May, and I was in a Talent Stacker study group the following Monday. And like those people are still my friends. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from Talent Stacker for me was the community that you create within Talent Stacker. You've got plenty of people to reach out to for help, support. And then the volunteer project was a big part of my success. You know, this is not an easy journey. And so having that support system, and being able to turn to somebody who's going through the same thing that you're going through and sharing the same kind of frustrations, that was a big part of what kept me going. You have to set yourself apart, and that comes with the dedication you put into it. It's not gonna just land in your lap. I mean, I know for some people that it happens that way, but for the majority of us, it does not. So I was certified by the end of July, and I just landed my job, just started last week. So I was hoping I'd be within that 6 month time frame. It didn't happen that way for me. And then obviously at the end of 2022, we started seeing layoffs. Hiring was slowing down. And so then I started getting very, very nervous because I had given myself a buffer, and I was coming to the point where my buffer was over. You know, I at that point I was like, I can't pursue this anymore. I'm going to have to make a pivot. And, you know, I found a great position using my previous financial service skills. But I can say a lot of my success is because of the dedication I put into it, the work I put into it. I did as much as I could, as far as like all the Talent Stacker things, doing clicks, doing the Talent Stacker volunteer project, doing an independent volunteer project. All of those things I felt like wrapped up into a nice bow for an employer. And I think that was helping me get interviews. I was interviewing every week, but the offers weren't coming. And so just pushing through that, it only takes one yes, but it hurts when you have 100 no's, like that really stinks. So just knowing that you're dedicated to it and pushing through all of that and staying your course and staying focused to get to your end goal.
I know Alicia and my journey are a little bit different. I think part of that also is related to the timing. Like she mentioned, the end of 2022 is a little different than the beginning of 2022. I think probably one of the most difficult things for me was juggling trying to study and work full time and have 3 kids and a busy schedule. So that was, I know it's not, it was a heavy decision for us to make that decision for me to leave work. I know that's not an option for everybody, but that was what helped me really be able to focus. But again, it is nerve-wracking to, I think some of the doubt was probably one of the biggest things, because when you tell people, even people who support you or close to you in your family, hey, I'm starting this new journey, totally different career. And I was stepping away from a nurse practitioner career. That was really difficult. So I just had to remind myself of why I chose to step out on this journey. The Facebook group, our study group, were all very encouraging. Again, like, this is real. This is a real career, that you can continue your previous skills. It's not like that time is wasted. And really definitely leverage that. But again, this is real. When everybody else is like, what is she doing? I don't, she's going to try to work for Salesforce. And again, then it's hard to explain. You just have to remind yourself of kind of that why. Why are you doing this? Why do you love it so much? And the community is always really helpful in that. And the job landed posts, I would just go scroll through every job. Okay, like one day, like, this is real. I think I did kind of stalk maybe Salesforce for Everyone for a little while too. For me, I was, I don't know why I keep going back to this, but like so excited to tell people it was real. So that was kind of fun to do. And I remember I was like, I was happy with the offer, especially for a first time job. I knew just from where I was coming that I personally was going to be taking a pay cut in my first job, but knowing the potential, there's kind of a ceiling in a way in the nurse practitioner healthcare space, and the time commitment, I mean, can be just super high, 60, 70 plus hour work weeks with all the charting. So to me, like it was totally worth it, a pay cut for the first entry level position to be able to have just years and years and decades of growth and learning and much more opportunity in the future. So anyways, going back to, I knew that it was a good offer, but it seemed like you have to try to negotiate something. So I was like, how much do I negotiate? That was kind of my next thought. So I did. I think I came back with asking for 5,000 more, and they countered at 3,000 more. And so I was like, okay, we're good. But I was just so excited, wanted to tell people it was real, and to remember to negotiate. So
for me, so I was driving in the car with my kids, and I took the call on speakerphone, and as soon as I hung up, I'm like screamed, like like there, and obviously my kids are like, did you get a job? Did you get a job? Like, because they knew I was working for it so hard, and they heard the conversation. They were like, so they were there, they heard it, they got to celebrate with me. Like, my hands were shaking, my heart was pounding, like, I can't believe this is happening, this is real. And the offer came in on the higher side of my range, but I knew no matter where I ended up, I would be making more than I was, just because of the nature of the work, and salary ranges. So I knew I would be making more, but I was also in a position where I was like, I just need something. Like, I'm not going to negotiate. There's no need for it. I'm already going to make more than what I was making. There is going to be no negotiation. The answer is going to be yes. The first offer I get, I'm not going to try to like get multiples. I'm not going to risk playing that game. And so I ended up with a 66% salary increase from my previous position. And I'm working fully remote. They hired it as hybrid, but after I started, they were like, really, we don't go into the office. So I'm fully remote, whereas was, traveling an hour a day, 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back. I have a 401k. That's not something you get in education. You get retirement system, and like whatever you have at the end is what you've put in. You don't get any match or anything like that. So that was a big bonus for me. Like I still can't believe it. But now that I'm in like a week, I'm like, now I know why people get paid so well in Salesforce. Now that I'm actually doing the job, my brain is tired at the end of the day. I'm going to bed at 8, 9 o'clock because my brain is done.
She can see now why, they're paid this. And I like to be honest with people. It's not some job that you're just going to sit back and collect a paycheck. You have to always be learning. You do have to work hard. But what has been, to me, life-changing is in the flexibility of, if I have a sick child and I need to go get them from school, it's not like leaving the clinic and then I have to cancel my appointments for the rest of the day. And, my background in healthcare, it was always so difficult because we were juggling 2 parents, and I really couldn't help very much in those things. So the burden a lot of times was on my husband, for sick time off with the kids, and to be able to be at home, even if I'm still working, to be at home and be present when the kids get off the bus, so they can come get off the bus instead of have to stay at after school care till 6 p.m. And that Alicia was mentioning the girls. So she has 4 beautiful girls, and I shouldn't start this because I'll probably cry. But that is something I was really, when she started her journey, I was like, gosh, for my nieces, like how amazing would that be? Alicia's worked so hard, and you know, her journey kind of started. We were on spring break, kind of a trip to see them, and that's kind of the things we were talking about was how hard she works in education. And unfortunately, those who work in education don't get high salaries, even though they deserve it. And you know, just to be able to be there for your families. And another thing, kind of personally, we had our youngest. She was a premature child. She's just been kind of sickly. And this past season, we had a scare with some labs and some concerns with her lab work and just constant back-to-back sickness, that I was able to take a step back, where my current company said, hey, like, you can, I know you want to be with your child. You can work on a part-time basis, whatever you want to devote to us. And then when you're ready to come back, you can do that. And I was able to do that and be able to work part-time when my child needed me. And that would never happen in healthcare. I mean, if you have a vacation scheduled and the call schedule changes, you have to cancel your vacation, even though it was planned 6 months to a year in advance, you know? So little things like that, that maybe to other remote employees don't seem so life-changing, but to me, coming from the healthcare background, that is life-changing, to be able to be present for your family and still have a full-time career that you enjoy as a mother and parent.
My husband is on call 24/7. He gets called out a lot at very odd hours. And he works a relatively dangerous job. It could be dangerous. And so part of this was, I want to be able to support myself and my children if he's not around anymore. And the salary that I had previous, that was not going to be possible. And now I can. Now I have the comfort of knowing that no matter what happens, that I can handle myself and my children on my income alone. That's very important to me. And the ability to be there when I need to be there. It's nice that I'm here when they get off the bus, switching lunches around, taking a late lunch for an appointment. I've always been an hourly employee, so punching a clock. Now I'm salaried. There are some negative drawbacks of salary, but there are also some positives. And so I'm only seeing those positives right now of being salaried. And just, it's important to me that I know I can take care of myself, no matter what happens in the future. So, and I have 4 little girls watching me. I want them to know that if they decide they want to do something, they can do it. They just have to put in the work, give the effort, and they'll be able to achieve it. And I want them to see me and themselves as a strong woman that can achieve whatever they want.
I would say probably the most is kind of just believing in yourself. I had this sense of, why do I want to leave healthcare? Like, that's wrong. I'd done this whole career. So then feeling like there's something wrong with me. And when I was able to make the transition and just feel that excitement again, and I'm still, working in the healthcare space, I'm still very passionate about healthcare, but I feel excited about healthcare again, instead of just seeing kind of the burden that providers have to go, the things that providers have to go through every day, and then the things that patients have to go through every day. I'm excited about the future to change healthcare using Salesforce. But it's given me the confidence to realize, I would see people who are in these positions, Epic consultants or nursing and informatics specialists who have made that transition. And I always felt like that is so cool. It will never be me. I didn't get a computer science degree. I don't know how to code. So it's just been a big confidence booster for me to realize that you can pivot and you can go do things. You don't have to do it when you're 20. You can learn things when you're not 18, 20 years old, and you can change careers because you love it. Going back to like our kids and girls, this was years and years ago. We had a friend of ours that has worked in tech forever. And I said, so I think my daughter's like 8, she's 12 now. I wish I would have gone into tech or like health tech. And she looked at me and she was like, well, why don't you do it? And that's kind of something that's always stuck with me. So it is cool to like show her, because she didn't understand like, what's wrong with you, Mom? If you like that and you want to do it, why don't you just go do it? So it's cool to say, I did it. And you can do it too. You might do something for 20 years you love and then change your career, and that's okay. That's really awesome.
So for me, I've done a lot of growth. 2022 was an amazing year for me. 2021 was rough. And so 2022 rolled around and I was ready to make changes. I knew I didn't want to feel stagnated in a role. I knew there were things that I wanted to achieve that I wasn't going to be able to with where I was at, and what I was doing. And so the most important thing that I've learned is that I can do it. Like, I don't need any special skills or, like, if I want to do it, I'm going to do it. And having the confidence in myself to know that once I start, I can finish and get across the finish line and achieve something great for myself. Yeah, it was a big year of growth for me, and I feel like the older I get, the more I learn who I am and what's important to me, and being intentional with what I do, to stay true to who I am, and knowing that it's okay to pivot. Like, it's okay to make changes. You don't have to do the things that you've always done. If your heart desires something different for yourself, go for it. Like, why not? What do you have to lose? So that was important to me, to know that I can do it.